experiences from Congo, and these experiences center on the power of black magic in Africa and the idea of the rod of power, which destroys this witchcraft. Okay. Before I start, I want to specify that this lady who had these experiences came to the what will I call it, the new center to join the new friends for our first time last Sunday, and she recounted these experiences. So it seems she's a Christian or some other person, some other faith who has been having these experiences, and she only found the new presentation or came in contact with new friends last Sunday, and she recounted these experiences. So in the first experience, the lady says she was walking along a road where the forces of darkness nearly submerged her. Then she heard a voice, "Stay, come." And the person who told her this was dressed like Superman. Then she later found herself on a surfing board with him in the water. And then she was taken up to a high tree, and soon, as it her swimsuit or her surfing suit started to spontaneously tear apart. Then she realized that there were beings on the tree with some kind of who looked like some animated designs, and they told her that they were going to take away the face she was wearing and give her another. Then something was placed on her face, and she became renewed and very beautiful to her own surprise. And then she had a series of these encounters. And the next day, or in another episode, she encounters what she called the Superman again, dressed in a blue suit, and who told her, come over here and have a look. Then he took her to a house where she lived as a child. And there she saw all the witches and wizards of her family. Then she was taken to a second house where she lived as an infant, and she recognized someone that she had known. And then she was shown that this person had killed people through witchcraft. And he used lightning, the power of lightning and thunder, to eliminate them. Then she was shown a lady and a man who were killed by these means. So when we talk of lightning and thunder, let me shed some light on what they mean, so that the dream can be put in context. You guys can better understand it. Now, the use of lightning to kill in Africa is one of the very highest forms of magic or witchcraft, and this power is wielded by very experienced and what I may call perfect people. People who are not easily moved to with their anger or whatever. You see, like I had an uncle who had this power, who could use this power of lightning and thunder, but he died without handing it over because he didn't find any child in the family who could inherit it. So it's a very uh, it's a very terrible force, such that it traverses time and space. Um, if it is if somebody wants to send it to do anything anywhere, it is just within uh, a few minutes, and the action is accomplished. No matter even if it is summer, uh, and he wants to send it, let's say, to the US, immediately the skies will grow dark, dark clouds will form, and then rain will start to drizzle, and then the lightning will go out, and it will accomplish its mission. Then whatever it is told to do, it will do it exactly. Like, for instance, if they say go over there and get Kelsey, give her a warning, shave her hair, burn her clothes, even she's walking on the road, leave her naked and come back. That's exactly what it will do. Or they say shatter her into pieces and come back. It will do exactly that. So that's what this man was using to kill people, and this lady was shown how he was doing it. Okay, in the third adventure, again, I'll call it an adventure now because it's too much. There are too many episodes. She meets Superman again, and he takes her to a village house and tells her to get inside. And then when she gets into the house, she sees people in chains with pieces of human flesh strewn all about. And some of these people are dangling in the air with heads facing downward. So Superman shows him a little boy and tells her it is her younger brother. Then her guide then gives her a rod, and whoever she touches with that rod is released from the chains. She delivers her brother, her son, and parents, and parents, and her sister, uh, whom she saw tied to a tree. Then she asked Superman who had kept them in such bondage, and she's told to be patient, for the evil people may come back to haunt her anytime soon. So in the meantime, she notices someone with a very long white beard who blows some dust into the eyes of 5 members of a family who had reappeared to bewitch her. So he tells her that they will never see her again. So in the 4th episode again, she meets Superman and he tells her to come nearer and have a look again. And she finds herself in her present living quarters. She sees people dancing all over. She sees people in this experience dancing almost the whole night. And her mom and her sister take offense. Then her guide tells her to be more observant of everything that is happening. Then she sees something come out of her mother, and she's told that that is what has been possessing her mother. So Superman now throws his rod in the direction of the object, which has exited her mother, and the thing catches fire and burns into ashes. So last Saturday night, the lady had an experience where she saw many real guides at a ceremony. And this ceremony was to consecrate or initiate a certain person called Mariam, as she says, as a real guide. So the place was very magnificent. She remarked that Mariam was still dark in color and asked to know why. So she was told by one of the guides that it is because Mariam is African and represents the Africans and has to be dark-skinned to avoid confusion. So there ends this woman's real side experiences. I don't know whether Duane has any comments on this or any other person.
No, actually, Charles, that was excellent. Self-explanatory, yes. Who is this person? Where is she at? Is she in Cameroon too, or is she in Congo, or where?
She's in Congo.
Yes, Charles. No, that was excellent.
Yeah,
yes.
Then
Lots going on. A lot going on over there. Yes.
Yeah, it's Mariam even commented that in fact the Africans are blessed that the new man is taking on their problems, protecting people from witchcraft and all the like. You know, upon joining the new presentation, there are many things that people want to. People first want to find their feet, it seems, from all the problems they have been having. And finally, there's a fresh breath of air, so they can put this witchcraft behind them at last. And this is what is really happening here, you see. So it's very spectacular, and you see what I commented on, and I said the rod of power. So the staff that almost Moses-like, that the new man was, Superman was using to annihilate those the forces of witchcraft. So it's something very, very, very. I found this experiences, 4 of them in a sequence, very interesting. One person will have this in a string. Yeah, and you asked about Cameroon. In fact, there's nothing for the moment that can come out of Cameroon, because Cameroon is at war. There's a lot of fighting, a lot of people dying, a lot of magic now used by the English-speaking people who want to liberate themselves. They are using all the ancestral forces that they have to kill the other side, French-speaking side, and people just appear and disappear. You don't know where they come from, and the French-speaking soldiers have nobody to fight, and they resorted to burning villages, burning towns because they have nobody to fight. They are facing ghost soldiers. So what you are talking about, witchcraft, it is being used now uh, in a manner that is different. Yeah. So all the foreign troops who are entering the English-speaking side have to come under this terrible magic that is done all over the land. Nobody shoots a soldier. They don't confront any soldier, but if they are resting somewhere, they all die without a shot. So it's something terrible. They've died in thousands already. So until this situation is cleared and the normalcy is established, we cannot really have anything coming out of Cameroon. Just to answer Duane's question, whether it was Cameroon. Yeah, Duane?
Yes. Wow. I wonder if the cabal is involved with, HARP and things like that also. So we have black magic technology here. So it's used all over. And so, yeah.
Yeah, the cabal is involved. The cabal is involved because wherever you have oil, you have gold, you have diamonds, especially France with the neo-colonial policy. They are there with they are there using the French speaking part of Cameroon to exploit. And so the English speakers have said, no, we only know about the French by through their association with the people we thought we federated with. We don't know you. We don't know them. So the war is raging very terribly, very terribly. It's one of the bloodiest wars going on, but the world is yet to know about it. The genocide is on a scale that you can't imagine. Mass graves, people are shot in cold blood. There's a program now to eliminate all youths from 13 to 50 years. They catch you anywhere, they just kill you. They just eliminate. Just because they don't want a fighting force to grow. But the soldiers who are there, the people have done their tradition in their villages, in their counties, and I can't just explain to you. If you have an idea of African magic, this one is terrible, terrible. You go to the war front, you don't shoot a single shot, but you're a corpse already. And a soldier points his gun at you. Even if he shoots and misses you, just the fact that he pointed you with his gun, you are dead. You're a corpse already. So the practices are terrible, frightful in this war.
Yes. It's a challenge for all of us, young man. Yeah. Yeah, the world doesn't want us here. That's for sure.
Yeah, Duane, I wanted to let me ask
Go ahead.
a question, just to link up with what I've already been saying. Whether as intent is what really matters in judging any action that one carries out. Whether the forces of witchcraft, sorcery, and magic can be used with a good intent, can be used to create to create a benefit for others. Yeah, because if you take, for example, what is happening in the, like in the war I've just talked about, and many instances in history, maybe in religious or spiritual history. Take, for instance, a mundane case like that of Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt, and with his rod he strikes the Dead Sea, and it splits into two, and the people cross, and the Egyptian soldiers who are chasing them, they are caught in the middle of the stream, of the river. Once the Israelites have crossed, and they are all drowned, they die. Yeah, I don't know whether this can be used these forces can be used to create a benefit. For instance, we also have the force of this lightning and thunder. I remember when I was in middle school, there was a certain pastor who was trying to study this the use of lightning and all. I wanted to be using it for transportation. He did not succeed to be handed this secret. So I don't know whether intent being the prime consideration, whether these forces of witchcraft, magic, sorcery, and all the like can be used to a good purpose. Yeah, good.
Well, it sounds like the lightning could be used for solar panels. That's kind of a joke, Charles. Yeah, but everybody has an ability, and you figure it out. What makes sense. It's just like a carpenter has a hammer. He can break windows with it, or he can hammer nails. It's true. You have a tool, and so sometimes these things are best left alone because of what occupies them. You see, what occupies them, etc. So it's, in a way, you can say, well, there are drugs out there, and people are hooked on the drugs. Is there a way that the drugs can benefit people? Well, there are, but you also have the association with the drugs and the people, don't you? You also have that. So you have to take that into consideration too. What comes with that. So it's a lot to look at. Each person's going to decide for themselves. But, just what we're doing and demonstrating, again, presenting something, and then each person decides to listen and see things in their own way. And, you have the technology aspects, okay? So I would say that if a person has these powers, okay, anybody can develop these powers. I've never had the urge to do it. I see what goes on, and it's not necessary at all, because your real awareness supersedes all that. It really does. But in the meantime, people are inventive here. They do things, and they can take their skills and create something, yes, that is a benefit in a certain way. But they have to decide how to do that. That's a toughie, because you get used to utilizing that source that you have, and so But again, I would Paul tells that story about Milarepa, and he could fly in his body and do certain things and killed a whole village because the village killed his father. And so, but Milarepa went through 9 years or so of anger treatment, building stone houses and things like this as an example. And so, again, these things are really not necessary. Even the technology we have, like I've said, is not necessary. It isn't. But we have it. We have to deal with it. And it's only getting worse. It's not getting better. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And so when you're playing with the forces of nature, because this is in creation, you have cause and effect. And just like people that are healers, supposedly, yes, that can take place. But really, there's no such thing as a healer. We learn to recognize and deal with it ourselves. And realistically, if it's just going and getting a herb or, a tree branch and, making it into a tea or something, this is a humbling experience, is what it is. It's nice to have the magic and whatever, but, if we hurt ourselves or break our leg or cut ourselves or whatever and things become severe, yes, it's really a humbling experience. This is part of, the course that we're going through here, to really humble ourselves and recognize more. It accompanies this recognition. It's very interesting how it works. I've been through so much myself. I see how it works. And yeah, it would be nice to be instantly cured, but this is, again, the world, because of the technology, because of what you're used to over there, people are looking for instant gratification. And so really, where is the process of, recognizing more, and also the humility and the gratitude and many other things that come with that, because this has to occupy that. And so, it's a lot. Look at Miriam. Does she do any of that? What she's done is amazing. Since she's come into the new presentation, first couple of months, she got a whole bunch of people there. And she's very, very focused. And she doesn't need any magic or anything like that. She's brought these people around into where she's earned her way, humbly so, and it more than shows in the pictures she sends, Ava. And so I see that as bigger. So, again, the world looks to, this and that for particular things. I look to it for certain things, too, to see what will show up, because I would like to do a lot more. But I don't know, Charles. It's an individual choice, and many times these people that have these so-called powers, I've seen it before, and they can come into something like us or with the real guys, and they really like their personal position. They really want to kind of be the star, you might say, and that's fine too. But that's really not where it's at. But again, I'm not going to say each person's going to figure that out for themselves. But again, what we're doing, it's working realistically. There's more to see than these personal things. This is where you get through your personal self, and what part of it do you really need. So, overall, the whole of life is an isness. So simply sharing the real awareness part of yourself supersedes anything that can be done in creation itself. Creation is only a reference. But again, solar panels, whatever, that person can stand there and he can ignite solar panels, whatever, that could be possible if he wants to do that. But, Africa, very good, you see this, so, we can all be creative with something. I'm here where I'm at, and everybody's where they're at, so everybody decide from, whatever their environment is, they decide what to do. So I just do what I can here, and the rest of the world is doing what it does, but on the real side, you see that, it's focused on awareness. And so it's not focused on any of that. Yeah. So, but then there comes a time when you see things happen, like in these experiences this person had, That's because it's come time to where the person has went through the process to be able to recognize this, and also those people involved, just like when we put away the queen into the phantom zone, because she has huge karma. It's not really the boys that did it. It was her debt. It was time. It's time to pay your debt. And so what you're really seeing there is that these individuals, it's not that it's really, there's power there. There's a rod of power. That's not the idea so much as is that it's just time for people to pay their debts, you might say. Enough's enough. And it's just like a person that, has robbed too many banks. The police finally come and get them. Enough's enough. And they're taken away. So each person really does it to themselves. Is really what is happening. They've accumulated so much that the cause and effect shows up. That's really what it is. Because everything is awareness. Yeah, it's so cool how it is. So as we focus on that, but again, each person makes a choice. That's their experience. They'll find out from that. But I don't look for that. I look for something that makes sense with the whole of life, and that's hard here. It's very hard here because of all the mechanisms that are going on. Yeah, it's a lot harder than it was in the cowboy and Indian days. It's a lot harder now, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And especially with the Wi-Fi and all that, mind control, etc. This is what they want, robotics, etc. And so, yeah, this is a real challenge here. And you would almost want some kind of power to offset it. Well, there are ways to offset this, and so it's being handled. But it's a process, and it's a willingness. People have to be willing. Not everybody's willing. That's the difference. So kind of explain around that, but let's see what comes up here. There'll be more adventures, Charles, and let's see who will step up and do what they do. Yes, everybody has something about them that's interesting, and so yes, thank you for sharing. Go ahead.